All right, it is, this whole studio smells amazing. This coconut cake time. I love coconut. I'm a huge coconut girl. If it were up to me, I would do several coconut recipes a week. But not everybody's a coconut lover like I am. So today is the day I'm gonna make this beautiful coconut loaf cake and then glaze it. And there's a secret ingredient in here that just makes it extra special. So, and it's so easy, done with probably mostly pantry staples. So let's get to work here. First, let's get our butter going. I have 1 cup of unsalted butter ready to go here. And to this, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of sugar. So I'm gonna just cream these together till it's nice and smooth. Let your mixer do the work for you. Hand mixer works great in this as well. And then I've got 3 eggs on deck here that we're gonna crack in. But first, I'm gonna get this nice and creamy and smooth. Next week is, so this is the irony. I'm not a big birthday person. I'm a person, when my husband says, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, go out to dinner. Like, I'm not one who celebrates all week, celebrates all month. Except for on this show, because I plan on celebrating and having a great time with y'all at Big Night Out. And then I just decided next week, I'm just gonna make whatever, all my favorite foods, so to celebrate birthday week. But if you just met me, you'd think that I'm a big birthday person. I'm not, but I'm definitely celebrating next week, making all the things. Coconut starting early with the coconut. All right, so now that this is well combined, let's get some eggs in here. I always crack them into a separate bowl here, just to make sure none of the shell gets in. I like the butter to be the eggs to be room temperature if you can, because the butter was room temperature and adding freezing cold eggs to it will therefore get it cold again, stiffen it up. When it's room temperature eggs, just kind of melds into food a little bit easier, a little bit better. I'm just gonna do one at a time here. Now, I gave this tip earlier in the week. I can't remember what I was making, but if you don't have room temperature eggs, it is very easy for you to just drop the eggs in a little bit of warm water for like 5 minutes, and it helps take the chill off them. So it's a little trick I do sometimes. Let's scrape the sides of the bowl. Get this together. This is a nice, dense, rich cake. It's a loaf cake, but it takes over an hour to make usually. This is a rich, if you like coconut, this is what you're looking for, this coconut cake, because it's very rich. Now to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla, a little dash of vanilla extract. And then this is optional, but if you have it, I want you to add a little coconut extract, just to, let's boost that coconut flavor. Just a little teaspoon in there, easy peas. All right, give the bowl another scrape. We always wanna make sure we're scraping this down. Or not. No stone left unturned here. Make sure nothing's sticking. We want everything just super smooth and well combined. All right, let that do its thing for a moment. Let's put together our dry ingredients. It's so easy. 1.5 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. We're also gonna add in some baking powder because we want that leavening. We want it to puff up and lighten up a little bit, so a little bit of baking powder. And then a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna have a lot of sweet stuff going in here. Let's get that salt to balance it out. Give that a good whisk. How you doing over here, my friend? That is nice and smooth and creamy and perfect. Now, I gave this a good whisk. Here's one of my secret ingredients. We are using coconut milk from the can. Just get a can of coconut milk, shake it really well, and we're using coconut milk to really enhance this flavor. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna add in a little bit, about 1/3 of the flour. Let that slowly come together. And then I got 1/2 cup of this coconut milk. If you find yourself wanting to make this today and you don't have coconut milk, of course you can use heavy cream or 50 and 50, but to me, this makes the cake. We're gonna go about 1/3 of that. And then we'll do about 1/3 of the flour again. This just ensures everything is smooth and creamy and delicious. About 1/3 of that. Now I'm gonna pause for a moment, scrape before I add the last part. These are all things I have in my house at all times because, like I said, I'm a coconut lover, but I do a lot of sautés and stews and things and use coconut milk in them because I love that flavor. So this is something I normally have at home is the coconut milk, which is why I add it. Let's finish up the end of that flour. And then the end of that rich coconut milk. Get it all in there. If it seems a little chunky to you when you open it up, just put it in a bowl and give it a good whisk and it'll all come together. All right, now I'm gonna scrape the bowl one last time. And then we're gonna get our actual coconut in there. All right, so now that this is nice and smooth, I'm gonna whirl it around one more time, but I do have a cup of sweetened coconut flakes. You can get unsweetened or sweetened. I like to use the sweetened in here. Like I said, if you're gonna go coconut, go big. So I'm gonna add the whole cup in there and give it one more little whirl around. Beautiful. Just the batter alone smells so so bright, so fun. It's just pure coconut. Now at this point, I've made this before where I've added mini chocolate chips in at this point as well, if you're looking for more of like an almond joy feel to it. But today we're gonna be purists. We're gonna keep it simple. Keep it just pure coconut. All right, so I'm gonna try and get as much of this off as possible. I use the paddle attachment for this, not the whisk, because it really brings it together really well without over mixing it. All right, I got 90% of it off. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get just a loaf pan, nice and easy. Ignore what I'm doing here, we're getting to this next. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray it really well. I like to get the baking pan. It has a little flour added to it, so please keep in mind if you are ever making anything gluten-free, please don't use this. Just use regular baking, spray, regular nonstick spray. But for things like this, especially when it's kind of a stickier batter, it really releases really well. So I just like to use that. All right, so now get this in your loaf pan here. And like I said, this is a thick, dense, heavy coconut cake. So this is gonna take about an hour or so, maybe even a little bit more. You want it super golden. And you want the toothpick test to come out nice and clean. So I'm gonna get this in a 350-degree oven. Let it do its thing. Now let's make a glaze real quick. I've got some powdered sugar here. We're gonna add more of that coconut milk because we're just reinforcing that flavor over and over again. And I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla in here. I have used the coconut extract in the frosting as well. You don't need it. We are overdosed on the coconut right now, so we're in a good spot with just the vanilla. And on the side here, I am toasting up a little bit of coconut on the stovetop. A lot of people do it in the oven. I am a golden retriever. I see a squirrel, I run for it, I forget it's in the oven, it will burn. So for me, if it's right on the side, I can smell it when it's done. So you're gonna give this a nice whisk, make sure it's nice and smooth. And we're toasting up, let's clean the decks here. We're toasting up this coconut because to me, we already have the raw coconut in the cake to add that nice sweetness. This is gonna add a little nuttiness to it. So this is what it looks like when it pops out. You're gonna let it cool a little bit. This is still nice and warm. That's why it smells so good in here. And you're gonna go ahead and let that cool a little bit before you pull it out. And you can see it's like craggly and it's got that crunch on the outside, but it's super dense, super delicious. And I'm gonna go ahead, drizzle it with some glaze. Let me get this off the fire. I just want that lightly toasted. You can do that ahead of time. I always have toasted coconut around because I sprinkle it on my oatmeal all the time. It's my jam. And you're just gonna take this glaze because it's made with that coconut milk and it's just gonna have that extra coconut flavor. You can do this right before you serve it if you want. And then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of that toasted coconut. Let me do the side drizzle here. And that toasted coconut is just the piece de resistance. I mean, really, it's just, let me put that in a little bowl here. Have that on the side, ready to go. And you're just gonna do the sprinkle. Tell me that does not look delicious. I truly wish you could smell this. It's like one of my favorite smells in the world. You're gonna wanna make this, and of course, I'm gonna go ahead and post that recipe on our social media as soon as the show is done, along with our website.